Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Bible Reading Group, and especially those who are following along with the Leadership Development Series. This is day one. We are working through what I like to call the crawl through Ephesians. And why do I say that? Well, because a lot of times we might talk about walking together through the scriptures, or, we like to use what we call an expository method of how we teach and preach the Bible, generally speaking. It doesn't mean we never do topical, but rather we like to work through books of the Bible in a fashion where we kind of work through the whole thing. Why do we do some of that, and why are we doing this walk through Ephesians or crawl through Ephesians? Um, well, it's because um, we have to always remember these things were given in a particular context. So, like Ephesians, for instance, as an example, is written by the Apostle Paul. It is written to, it's oftentimes just referred to, written to the church in Ephesus. Um, but really, it was written um, to the churches in Asia Minor. So, the church in Ephesus would have probably been kind of a leading church, but this would have been given to circulate among the churches. Which is one of the reasons why there's not as much language in it that would be extremely directed to individuals, like most of other New Testament letters that would be to a particular church or group might list certain specifics of people or whatnot. So anyway, you have those sorts of context, right? Well, it's a letter. And while, especially a large letter, Ephesians isn't really that large, but might be read over a period of time, not the way we do it. We often like we're going to do Ephesians over 2 months, um, and today you're reading through the whole book of Ephesians if you're following the reading plan. Um, but the reason we do that is we want to make sure you're not losing sight of the overall context. Um, Sometimes we drill down verse by verse, and that's healthy. We want to understand, right? But we're never to take those individual verses uh, outside of the understanding of the whole. Okay. In the same way, we aren't to take Ephesians outside of the understanding of the whole Bible. Okay. So it's one of the reasons why the guys that I've initially selected to be a part of this leadership development group, they're guys who are already um, regularly in God's Word. Okay. So they're already, those who have either read through the entire Bible, some of them maybe multiple times, or they've been in that process with us in a dedicated way. And so that's a bit of a prerequisite if you're going to be a part of learning in expository method, whether it's for preaching or for teaching or for leading small groups or preparing devotionals. Like it's the same methodology that we use. I even encourage people, if you're doing a topical sermon, use the same methodology. You don't throw it out the window. But anyway, that's another topic. So Ephesians, you read about the beginning of the church in Ephesus in the book of Acts. You find out that Paul spent a couple of years there ministering, and so there's a lot of richness in what you're reading today in this letter that is known as a letter to the Ephesians. It is sometimes referred to as Little Romans because of the depth of the doctrine and theology that you find. Now, is there some difficult things? Yes, there is. But just as way of getting into the introduction sort of thing of the um, letter to the Ephesians, we're going to today specifically cover Ephesians chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. us from the beginning of this letter to the Ephesians. And so I encourage you as you're reading through. One of the reasons why you're reading through Ephesians so much, we are going to walk through a verse or two or three or whatever at a time as we're going through. Um, but again, you need to be a student of the whole. Okay. So I encourage you. I know it sounds like a lot. If you're having trouble with that amount of reading, put the YouVersion app on your phone or whatever. Tell it you want to play, and it'll read to you. Um, so you could listen through Ephesians on some of those days if that's better for you. And so I would encourage you to be on that journey. Anyway, we're going to leave you at that for today. Appreciate you guys being on the journey with me. And I hope you're growing in the Lord, and we'll be back to chat with you some more tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye for now.
Will be done, my God and Father, as in heaven, so on earth. My heart is drawn to self-exalting. Help me seek your kingdom first. As Jesus walked, so shall I walk, held by your same unchanging love. Be still, my soul. Oh, lift your